Okay, hello everyone. How's it going? So one of the things that seems to be a profound impediment to people's sense of serenity and their productivity is the inability to schedule themselves and then stick to their schedules. For some reason, we've never really learned the skill set that we need that allows us to move effortlessly through a day. And so what happens is we have a vague sense of what we want to accomplish, and then the day gets ahead of us, and the next thing you know, we're aggravated, we're frustrated, we're kind of anxiety ridden, and we're procrastinating. There are ways around this, and I want to use our time here to show you how you can do that. Now, what you're looking at on the screen now is my Infusionsoft calendar. Now, there are a lot of different calendars you can use. You can even do it on paper if you prefer. Um, you could definitely do it with Google Calendar, but I'm going to point out certain things that are worth knowing. First thing to think about is the strategic piece, which is you need your calendar to have some dominance or control over your life. You can't make plans and then completely ignore them. Otherwise, everything I'm about to teach you becomes worthless. I was a chiropractor for many years. I had a very busy sports medicine practice, and I had to live by my schedule. We would, block people off in increments of 15 minutes. And if I got off schedule by the end of the day, it was pretty awful. And most of you know the awful experience of going to the doctor's office or the hospital and having to wait for a long time. I never bought into that idea. I always felt like my clients, my patients, deserve more respect than that. So I made it my commitment and my rule that I'd stay on schedule, and this is how I did it. So first thing I want to do is notice here's a calendar, and this calendar is designed with a couple of different possible things I can do. One of them is to set appointments, and another is to set tasks. Now, not every calendar works exactly the same, but most of them do, and you can do it yourself, even as I said, on paper. So let's go down here for an example. On the day of the 21st of this month, I have a 10:30 appointment, have breakfast with a friend, and if I click on that, you'll see that there is the date and the time that the appointment starts, and there's also the date and the time the appointment ends. This is crucial. This is called blocking. If you don't block, if you're using a calendar now, but you're just writing down, have breakfast with Ann at 10:30, you don't have an end in sight. So that 10:30 could turn from 10:30 to 12:30 or 1:30 or whatever. You're not being mindful of the block of time that you've dedicated. So the first rule of this game is to have not just a start time, but also a stop time for all of your appointments. If you're not doing that, just doing that will completely transform your life, assuming, of course, that you're willing to live by your calendar. Then, as I said, there are tasks. So under tasks, these are various things that I need to do. Most of them are pretty cryptic. If you look at them now, they basically just represent emails I need to send. So every name that you see on this list is just somebody that I need to fire off an email to. And that's part of my to-do for the day. And they all say 8 o'clock because that's the default time that comes up on the calendar. But the point is that these are not completely time sensitive, although in all likelihood I'll probably block out a time during which I just do that. So the biggest issue is you need to have some kind of a calendar system like this. You need to have a start and a stop time on your appointments, so not just a start time, but a stop time as well, so that you can visualize the block of time that it represents. And then items that are not time sensitive should also be listed and visible. And then maybe if you're the kind of person who needs a little extra help, what you might want to consider doing is making a block of time using appointments and then putting all that whole list inside of that block. So you might put down 11 to 12 a.m. or 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. due emails. And then you would take all of these individual emails that I've put here and stick them in the notes section. So I should point that out. You see, when I bring up that appointment, I also have a place to create notes. So if there are specific things I need to do, that would go down here. And again, if this up here said action description, do your emails, then I could just list out what those emails are over here. Again, the point being, kind of the big picture, I want to keep going back to the big picture, is choose to make your calendar dominant over your day so that you are, a lot of times we think, well, I want to be free. I want to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. Well, that's great, but then you'll probably notice that you're suffering a lot more than people who have structure in their lives. So that's a decision you need to make for yourself. If you want to decide that you'd like to live in peace, which I've decided, then the first step is to commit yourself to living by your calendar. The second step is to use the rules I just described, start and stop time, not just a start time. Make sure that those time blocks are logical, they're rational. Make sure you're building in time for things that you know you need to do, like, for example, lunch or take your dog for a walk. That could go right on the calendar too, or if you're a more advanced practitioner of this art, you don't have to put those daily activities on the calendar. You just have to make sure not to book anything else during the same time. Um, Simple process, really. This is a simple process. Now, how do things end up getting to your calendar? Well, that might be a story for another day, but in the procrastination course that I teach, Procrastination Annihilation, we show you what are the prerequisites to setting an appointment so that by the time it goes on your calendar, it has a reason to be there. You've got all the resources at your disposal to follow through on whatever it is you need to do. So you're not like putting a block of time that says 1 p.m. write your book from 1 to 2 p.m. That would be nonsense. Maybe you would say from 1 to 2 p.m. write the introduction to the book, or find a topic to write about. So you want to chunk your items down so that whatever goes in that block of time will fit in that block of time. Again, really simple ideas, but for some reason we don't do them. So get in the habit of using a day timer, a day planner, whether it be online like mine, or on paper. This is one of the better ones. Infusionsoft does a lot of other things besides this, but your Google Calendar could do just the same for you. Don't just do it on paper. Don't do it on scrap. Or don't just do it on scraps of paper, and don't just jot down a list of things you need to do today. But really start getting in the habit of blocking your time. I promise you, your life will get infinitely easier. So that's a start to this conversation. If you want to know more, if you want to get better at this whole process, start looking into my Procrastination Annihilation course. You'll become a ninja of scheduling and of using your time effectively and leaving yourself time to enjoy your days. That's it for now. Dr. Steve, over and out.